Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are going deep, and I mean uh, really deep.
Very deep.
We're exploring this staggering multi-level city built almost entirely beneath the surface of the Earth. We're talking about Derinkuyu, hidden under the ancient region of Cappadocia in Turkey.
It's a place that it almost defies belief. For centuries, this massive complex just sat there in complete silence, totally hidden.
Right.
Then in 1963, a local villager, he's just doing some home renovations.
Yeah, I love this story.
He knocks down a wall in his basement, and instead of more storage space, he finds this dark tunnel just stretching into the earth.
He'd stumbled upon one of the world's great mysteries, and it opened to the public, just 2 years later?
Just 2 years. It's an incredible start to the story.
It really is, because it sets the stage for the enormous scale of what was just sitting there. We've been looking at all the sources, geological reports, historical analysis, architectural theories, and they all point to the same thing. This is one of the most remarkable engineering feats of the ancient world.
Exactly. And so, for our deep dive today, the mission is really twofold. First, we need to get into the astonishing how did they dig down maybe 13 levels without modern tools?
How did they breathe?
How did they get water? How did the whole thing not just collapse? And then second, and maybe more importantly, we have to tackle that enduring human question of why.
Why would tens of thousands of people choose to live 85 meters beneath the ground?
What could possibly drive them to do that?
Okay, so let's start with, I guess, the sheer magnitude, the scale of the structure itself.
Right.
Derinkuyu is located about 30 kilometers from Nevşehir in Cappadocia. And when you hear underground city, you might be picturing, a few interconnected caves or something.
Not even close. This is a metropolis.
A proper metropolis.
Yeah.
So what are the numbers? How deep are we talking?
Well, the current figures they're almost impossible to really grasp. So right now, only 8 levels are fully cleaned and open to visitors. That takes you down 50 meters.
Which is already incredibly deep.
It is. But the estimates for the complete structure suggest it goes down 85 meters.
Wow.
Potentially with 12, maybe even 13 floors in total.
And the footprint. The area it covers.
Yeah.
Because that's what really puts the scale into perspective for me.
So the total estimated area is about 4.5 square kilometers.
Okay, let's try to visualize that.
Think of it like this. That's the equivalent of about 1,100 football fields.
1,100?
Yeah.
All carved out of rock, hidden from the surface.
Exactly. And get this, the sources all agree. The part that's accessible today, it's probably less than 10% of the total structure.
So we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg.
Literally, we've barely scratched the surface of what Derinkuyu really is.
Which naturally brings us to the builders.
Yeah.
You don't just dig a city like this anywhere. You need a very specific type of rock.
You absolutely do. And the key to this entire operation is the geology of Cappadocia. The city was carved into volcanic rock called tuff. Yeah, it's basically compressed volcanic ash that's been cemented together over millions of years.
So it's soft enough to carve, but stable enough to, hold up the ceiling.
That's it exactly. The sources all emphasize 2 things. First, it's soft and easily workable with, say, Bronze Age tools, metal picks, shovels, things like that. But second, and this is crucial for living there, it provides phenomenal thermal insulation. It keeps a stable temperature all year round.
A huge advantage. Now, this city was used for thousands of years. We see Hittites, Romans, Byzantines. But who started it? Who laid the first stone, so to speak?
Well, the research points pretty strongly to the Hattians.
The Hattians.
They were a Bronze Age civilization native to Anatolia who were there well before the Hittites. This pushes the start date way back to around 1750 BCE.
So, we're talking about an architectural plan laid down almost 4,000 years ago.
And then continuously improved upon. Which brings up that core engineering puzzle you mentioned. Building down.
It's completely counterintuitive.
It's the ultimate example of what you might call reverse engineering. When you build a skyscraper up, you can fix a mistake on a lower floor. When you build down, every level supports the next.
Structural stability must have been the number one concern.
Paramount. Because one collapse could cascade. It could take out the whole system.
So how did they solve that? How do you support 13 subterranean floors using only the rock you're digging out?
It was this really elegant structural strategy, whether it was trial and error or some sort of sophisticated calculation, we don't know. But they figured out they had to increase the thickness of the rock layers between levels the deeper they went.
Oh.
The sources are pretty explicit on this. The support layers for, say, the bottom 4 floors are substantially thicker than the ones near the surface. It's just brilliant foresight.
And again, with primitive tools, we have to pause on the sheer physical cost of this, the amount of rock they moved.
It is staggering. Estimates put the total removed spoil, the excavated rock, at around 500,000 tons.
500,000 tons. That's just an abstract number.
Yeah.
Can we visualize that?
Okay, let's try. That's the equivalent of 25,000 fully loaded modern dump trucks.
Wow.
Now, imagine carrying all of that out by hand, up narrow tunnels, in the dark, using Bronze Age tech.
The logistics alone.
Yeah.
Hauling that much material, managing the dust.
Yeah.
And you'd need constant light from thousands of, oil lamps?
Linen oil lamps, yeah. It tells you this wasn't just some side project. This was a societal commitment driven by some kind of extreme need.
So once it's built, you have the next problem. Sustaining life.
Yeah.
We're talking 10, maybe 30,000 people. They need breathable air.
For them, for their animals, for the cooking fires, and Derinkuyu's ventilation system is, well, it's arguably its greatest triumph.
The defining feature.
It is. Modern engineers calculated the air volume needed for a city that size. They figured you'd need about 50 ventilation shafts.
And Derinkuyu has.
52.
That's incredible. That level of precision, predicting the airflow for thousands of people.
It's remarkable, and these shafts weren't just for breathing, were they?
No, they were multifunctional. The main shaft goes down 55 meters, specifically engineered to hit the water table.
So it's an air conduit and a water well.
Exactly. The city's name even reflects that. Derinkuyu literally translates to deep well. They built the entire life support system around the same architectural element.
So they have air, they have water, they have insulation. What did daily life look like down there?
Well, they essentially replicated surface life, but with necessary adjustments. For example, the first level, the one closest to the surface, that's where they kept the stables.
Makes sense. Easier to get the livestock in and out.
Right. They also had processing areas like wineries they call shirahens with holes in the ceiling so you could just pour grapes down from the surface.
And the later additions tell their own story, don't they? The churches, the mission school.
It's clear evidence of extensive use by early Christians fleeing persecution.
Right. You can also see hints of their social structure in the kitchens. They use these regional clay ovens, tandir systems, but there are very few kitchens for a city that size.
Meaning what?
It suggests they moved from individual family cooking to formalized communal food prep, a major shift, all driven by the need to survive together.
I love the smaller innovations, too, the things they did to manage the darkness and communication. Tell us about the rock telephones.
Oh, these are fascinating little acoustic tricks. They drilled small holes in the walls that allowed sound to carry between rooms, even between different floors.
A low-tech intercom system.
Exactly. It meant you didn't have to shout or run through the maze of tunnels just to pass a message.
And just dealing with the darkness itself. Living for weeks or months without any sunlight must have been psychologically brutal.
A huge challenge. They had to manage it strategically, so they carved these niches into the walls at regular intervals to hold oil lamps. It created a sort of an ancient street lighting system.
So you didn't need to carry a torch everywhere.
Right, which also cut down on smoke and heat, which in turn helped the ventilation system. See, it's all interconnected.
Which brings us back to the big question, the motive, the why. This was obviously not a comfortable place to live permanently. It was built for one reason, defense.
Absolutely. It's a system born of defensive paranoia. Its masterstroke was concealment. The main entrance is just this narrow 5-meter corridor that plunges into darkness almost immediately. If you didn't know it was there, you walk right over it.
And if an enemy did find it, the security measures were just formidable. Everyone knows the symbol of Derinkuyu, those massive rolling stone doors.
Those doors are just ingenious. Huge circular stone wheels weighing anywhere from 2 to 5 tons. They roll across the passageway to seal it.
And the key is they could only be opened from the inside.
Only from the inside. They created a series of subterranean choke points. An attacker would have to conquer the city layer by layer.
So you breach the first door.
And the next level is already sealed off behind another one. It gave them multi-level defense. If a section was compromised, they sealed it. They even had escape tunnels, like the one on the 6th floor with 107 steps, leading to other hidden exits.
The construction went on for 4,000 years. So different groups were escaping different threats. Who were those first builders, the Hattians, hiding from?
The likely threat that kicked this whole thing off was a king named Anita of Kusara. He was an aggressive expansionist, conquering kingdoms across central Anatolia during the Bronze Age. The first builders wanted a place to just disappear until the storm passed.
And then centuries later, the Christians renovated it. They weren't hiding from a local king. They were hiding from a superpower.
From the Roman Empire. Starting around 200 AD, Derinkuyu becomes this vital sanctuary. Early Christians were facing systematic persecution. To escape, they would retreat underground for months at a time. The churches, the baptistries, those were additions they made to sustain their community and their faith during that isolation.
It really emphasizes the main point here. Derinkuyu was never a permanent city. It was a forced necessity, a highly engineered refuge where the only goal was to survive until the threat on the surface was gone.
It embodies this deep human response to an existential threat. When the forces on the surface, a Bronze Age army, a Roman legion, become too powerful, you find a way to dig in and just wait it out.
What an incredible deep dive. We've gone from the soft tough that made it possible to the reverse-engineered stability, the 52 air shafts that made it livable, and the rolling doors that made it defensible.
I think the mystery of Derinkuyu is largely solved in terms of its function. It was a continuous, ingenious architectural solution for survival, a monument to human endurance.
And it isn't alone. We know Derinkuyu connects to other underground cities in the region, like Cappadocia. It's part of this colossal network.
Which brings us to the final provocative thought for you to mull over. We established that 90% of Derinkuyu is still unexcavated, and it's part of this larger underground capital of Anatolia, with more than 30 known sites.
So, if the 10% we've explored holds this many engineering and historical secrets,
what greater knowledge, what untold stories might that remaining interconnected 90% still be holding, just waiting beneath the surface?